Here in Lesson 9 of our home mortgage, let's take a look at our completed home loan mortgage table. Some of the features here. First of all, as you observed in Lesson 8, that by the time you get down to 360 months, the loan is down to 0. Let me go ahead and freeze. Split my windows here so I can get down and get to the last payment. There it is. So here's periods 1 through 12, and then I've got way down the screen. I was able to split the screen here so we can just look at the last 5 months of payments here, and you can see the loan ends up being completely paid off after 360 periods, which in this case each period is a month. So one of the features about a mortgage is that you have the same payment every month, but the amount that goes to interest changes each month, and the amount that goes to principal changes. So in the early years of a mortgage, most of the payment is just going to pay an interest expense. It's not going towards paying off the loan. So you can see here, like when you make your first payment, only $360 is going to actually pay off the loan. So even though you paid over $1,000, you can see here that the loan only went down by $360. So this interest is just an expense, the price for using that money for 1 month. But over time, the amount that you have to pay for the money decreases because you're using less of somebody else's money. And then the amount that is actually going to paying off the loan is increasing. So that by the time you get down to the last few years, very little of it is actually going to interest, because in this case you're only borrowing, in this situation here, payment 356, you're only borrowing $5,900 for 1 month, and so your interest then is only about $20. And so then most of your payment is going to paying off the loan. And so that is the feature of a home loan or a mortgage. Same payment, interest amount decreases over time, the principal payment, the amount actually going to pay off the loan, increases over time until eventually the loan is completely satisfied. It is at 0. Now once we've created this table, we have our variables here, principal, interest rate, and our period and time. And because we created this formula that references all of this information, we can then go ahead and use this loan table here to solve other problems related to a mortgage or an automobile loan. So for example, if we change the $250,000 to say $300,000, you can watch our table change because we've referenced everything based on this information here. And so there it is. Everything changes except the periods and the months, of course. But as far as the payment amount, interest and principal, ending balance, all changes based on what we change here with these variables. We can change the interest rate. Let's make it 3%. And then you can see all of our numbers change. Let's change it to 10%. Big difference in payments, as you can see. I can tell you this, when I bought my first house, interest rate was 10%. And in fact, let's see, I remember the first house we bought, I think it was like $75,000. This is a long time ago. $75,000 house, not $750,000. And that was about what our payment was, $658. That same house today, so $658, today's interest rates are more like 3.5%. $658, it goes down to $336, so it makes a huge difference. I tell you what, back in the day, what a difference it would have made in my life to have that lower interest rate. Just incredible. There was a time when I first got married in the mid-'80s, interest rates were as high as 15% for a home loan. Watch that payment. Look at that. Just makes a huge difference. So that's why the interest rate is something that you really want to pay attention to when you buy a car, especially when you buy a house. You can also change the period, number of years. You could get a home loan for 15 years. So let's see what happens if you buy a $250,000 home at 4%. For 30 years, your payment's $1,193. Change that to 15 years, and the payment goes up to $1,849. But your loan gets paid off in half the time, which means that even though your payment's more, the amount you actually spend for interest decreases by quite a bit. So a 15-year loan is 180 payment periods. That would put you right there. There's the loan paid off. Now the last thing we want to do in this video is protect this, because if I were to come in here and accidentally key something in, like maybe I thought I just made a mistake and I put a 30 here, you can watch what happens to the table. My formula is gone and it's replaced with the number 30. So everything that's referenced to that creates some interesting situations here. Or if I accidentally put in just something else, or if I just deleted it completely, all of a sudden it's just destroying it. So let me undo that. Get back to my payment. And so what we want to do is make sure that this particular cell is protected. So we can change these, no problem, but this one, we don't want to make a mistake. So what we can do is protect it, and here's how you do it. Go ahead and select that cell. Come on up to Tools. Click Protect Sheet. And then you can give it a description, and I'm going to call that the payment cell. And we want to select a range, not sheet. We don't want to protect the whole sheet, just the range, which is that cell right there, B7. B7. And then what we can do is set permissions. And here's what we want to do. Show a warning when editing this range. So if we do go in there and start to make a change, it'll give us a warning. Show a warning when editing this page. And so I'll click Done. And then if I come in there and try to do something, that happens. Heads up, you're trying to edit part of the sheet that shouldn't be changed accidentally. Edit it anyway. No, no, no. Cancel. Okay, no, I don't want to do that. So we make sure that doesn't happen. And so that's going to conclude video 9, taking a look at a mortgage. And what you can do after this is, because now that you know how to use this information here to calculate some payments, you are ready to take another home mortgage test utilizing quizzes. And do make sure that you use your worksheet to take that test.